Yips, tips, yips, yips, tips, yips, tips, yips, tips, yips, yips, tips, yips, tips, hey, yips, tips, hey, yips, tips, hey, yips, yips, tips. Yips chips! Yips chips! Yips chips! Oh, yips chips! Yips chips! Yips! Yips chips! Where's the internet at? Where the old damn interneters at? Where are the interneters? Oh. What up, internet? What's going on? Eddie West, first to the chat. What's happening? Luke's Aquatics. Numero dos. With the two fingers. What's going on? It's Monday. Here's the second part of the live stream from earlier this morning's. I don't want to wear my hat anymore. It's too hot out. You guys, it's 100 million out, and it's only getting hotter. It's only getting hotter. You got to remember to hydrate because it's so hot out, everybody. Remember to drink some agua like a fish. Speaking of fish, my fish are doing fairly well. And I forget what I was going to shoot video for today. To bring it on tonight, but that video is not done yet. So what we were going to do is we were going to have the lovely Victoria come on here tonight, but Victoria, alas, she said that she didn't want to do it. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the XSplit program that we use to broadcast here with can't handle multiple cameras, and it sucks because I pay money for this stupid program that doesn't work and continually drops out because enabled USB devices. And it's driving me crazy. See the pregnant pause there? You got to put a little pregnant pause in there because it's driving me bananas that this stupid program that I have to pay a monthly charge for doesn't work properly. And you know what? That's not your guys' problem. That's my problem. But I like to say that it's driving me a little bit nuts because I have everything set up. Everything set up here to work with having two people on the live stream, except this software won't do it. It won't do it. Won't do it. It won't do it. And it's irritating. So I could say that I'm a little bit frustrated at it, but that's just reality. So we're going to have to do it solo tonight, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to figure out how to get this thing to encode properly with multiple cameras. We shall see. Or I'll just end up making this face and trying to figure out how to punch software in the face. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. It's probably an ethereal maneuver, like I got to have some kind of magic or something along those lines, and I don't seem to have the magic in order to Hulk smash this software directly in the teeth. It doesn't. It's not the kind of situation where you get in a fight where you'd want to, do some body work and maybe like hit them in the kidneys and the liver and the nipples around anything like that. This is just straight up knock the teeth out of this software right off the bat and just send them straight to the dentist. It's irritating me. That's how I feel about it. I make this face. Ugh. But I digress. Here's some of the good news, guys. All right, so I was running a bunch of temperature checks on my little fish room that we built there. If you guys have been watching the channel, I built out a little fish room. I don't know if anybody in the live chat is hip to what I'm talking about. We have a little fish room here that started out as a 100-year-old building, and we built a little room with inside the room that's fully insulated and everything. And I will say that the reef is perfectly stable at 81 degrees, exactly where I want it to be. That's good. And that is a good thing. Reef is nice and stable temperature-wise. When I temp it with the laser thermobitator, we come up with the positive affirmation that the temperature is correct where we want it to be, and the freshwater aquarium is sitting happily at 76 degrees, which I understand is a little bit warm for crystal shrimp, but there are no crystal shrimp in the big old 240 anymore because they all passed away. Its current inhabitants in the 240-gallon aquarium are Gardneri Achilles. We got some bristlenose plecus. We got some cherry shrimps. We got some Apisto cockatoides, and amongst some other things in there, and they all like that temperature. So, double thumbs up, one ghetto thumb, one regular thumb, 2 thumbs up on the old aquarium temperature holding. As people are talking in the chat, it's been super hot. I'm not sure how warm it was out today. I mean, it wasn't mind-bendingly hot, but it was quite warm out, and it's going to get hotter and hotter this week. So most people have been hitting me up in regards to that kind of stuff, and so let's just say so far, so good. Some of the stuff we were talking about this morning, Ben Border 09. Ben Border 09, he actually sent me a video, and unfortunately, I have the wrong computer here to link his video because I have 2 computers here, if that makes sense. So I can't drag this one onto the other computer and bust it into the chat here. Wait, hold on a second. I can do this. hold on, guys. I can do this. I got two computers. Okay, hold on, kid. Let me push the buttons, and we'll make this happen. We'll make all this happen via the technologies that we got going on over here. Okay, hold on. You just gotta... What the... Hold on. Alright, it's on the other audio. Oops, I screwed it up. Alright, let's pause this. Highlight that. Copy it. Then we'll go over here to the other thing. We'll go to the live stream window over here. We'll upload the offload into the upload. Then once we do the thingamajigger, badoosh, there we go. Okay, so there is Ben's video right there, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So he was asking me a while ago about how he's doing his little fish room that he's starting up. He had some questions. We got him some answers, some preliminary answers. If you guys if you skip up to 50 seconds into the video here, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So he's got a little drawing there of what he's doing. And he's going to do his saltwater tank run to a sump. That's a 60-inch long. He has a 60-inch long space by 3 feet, and that's going to be perfect right next to his hot water heater. And then he has he's going to do 2 freshwater setups. Oh, long. You going back to work in the middle of the night? It's 9/11, man. Good luck. Everybody say bye to Long Woo. We will actually be at his house on Friday working on his 2 180s. I'm looking forward to doing that, which should be fun. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have some laughs, do some work on them 180s, get them set up. But Ben's setup here is kind of what we're talking about. So he's got he's going to make 2 racks two 20 longs in the middle, a 40 breeder on top, and a sump down below, and kind of plumb those together. So he's going to have two separate systems. I wanted to let him know that's going to work out pretty well. I think from the email that he sent me, he was questioning in regards to how he was setting up his fish room. I think this is going to work ultimately the best, because realistically, if he wanted to do some more individual breeding later, he could basically take out one of the sumps, put two 20 longs underneath where the sump is, and run all of those off of he could run all of those off of air pumps, you know what I'm saying? So he could run all of those off of air pumps later on if he'd like. In the meantime, he would I think he's going to have a pretty good setup with the two racks that he's going to do here, because he'll be able to do two different kind of water styles if he wants, or just maintain two types or even the same types of water side by side, but he can always change them up. Like maybe you wanted to do a freshwater and a brackish. Maybe you wanted to do some cichlids over here and some guppies over here, and you want to kind of have all the different kind of setups. You can have those two setups plus the saltwater. I think you're going to be in a great position. And I understandably, I know a lot of people out there be like, oh, this is kind of a small fish room, because a lot of the fish rooms that we see on YouTube and stuff have 900 tanks in them and stuff like that along those lines. And there we go. That was bugging me. But this is going to be a perfect setup for somebody's house, especially in a basement like this. The one piece of advice I'd give from this video is make sure that you shore up all that cement, get that all sealed up and all that kind of stuff before you go putting the tanks in there, because you're not going to be able to do that stuff afterwards. And then also take into consideration your power wherever you're at in that room. It looks like it doesn't have any outlets or anything like that. Run some proper power down on its own line from the breaker box. And was that a fly? Did I just hear a fly? Hold on. Oh my God. Zombie fly. Alright. Sorry. I had to kill that fly. Oh, it's back. It's come back to life. It's a zombie. This is the apocalypse, my friends. All right, I'm pretty sure that was the brundlefly. I think Jeff Goldblum as the fly was just in here. It's probably going to come back to life and try to eat my brain tonight, I'm guessing. The thing was a monster. All right. I thought I dealt with that one earlier. Came back to life. I'm going to keep an eye on that fly. If it comes back to life again. We got some super flies out here because it's been super hot, right? Yeah, that's right, Rurutu. If it's a White Walker fly, I need either Dragonfire or some of that dragon glass. I need some of that obsidian. I'll stab it in the face. But I'm pretty sure that was brundlefly. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna need a time machine or some kind of teleportation machine to combine him back into. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think it's dead. But I thought that before, so who knows? Oh. Rude, you're saying we all can't be Lucas Bretts. Yeah, but like I was saying with Ben Borders' tank system here, I think that's going to be fantastic for especially somebody who is going to probably maintain this nice little setup. I think this is going to work out really. This is like a really good setup for somebody who's just going to be doing some projects at their house, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a great little design because you're going to be able to do some different stuff with both racks if he ends up going that route. Okay, so I didn't want to dwell too much into that because it seems like he's pretty well sorted out at this point. But I like to get back to the people that email me and let me know. What is this? Okay, hold on. I'm trying to go through these emails here to make sure we get them correctly. Al, I wanted to say hi to Al. Al's out there somewhere. Al's out there somewhere in the bayou doing Al stuff, and had a lot of questions for, and I don't really have answers for those right now, but we'll see how that goes. If he's around, we'll maybe address some of his questions if he'll throw them up into the chat. All right, so there's that, and then let's go over to the other thing over here, my other inbox. Olympia Shrimps Shrimpery found my channel via Aquarium Co-op. Wacky Sober Fish Nerds. That's their bag. Well, I'll give a shout out to Olympia Shrimps Shrimpery. I'm not sure what you guys do because I tried to check out and see if y'all had some videos, and there are no videos, so I'm not sure what y'all do, but wherever Olympia Shrimps Shrimpery is, shoot me a message and let me know what y'all up to. Because that almost sounds interesting, and that's right down the street. Olympia's not far from me. I was in Olympia yesterday. Olympia A. And then I got messages. Ashley Thomas. Hopefully we'll be drilling your tank very soon. Cool. And there we go. So I guess we got back to everybody. I feel like there was more things that I had to answer, but I feel a little disjointed on that right now because probably it's so heated. It's so heated out here, and apparently the brundleflies in here probably going to try and eat my brains or whatever. Oh, here's something that I wanted to mention. The Patreon page, today is the last day to patronize for the month of whatever this month is, July-uary. I think this is July-uary. That's the Patreon page. Today's the last day that you can do that for this month. I wanted to throw that up there in case anybody wants to patronize. We lost a patron. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe they dropped off. Maybe they dropped off the face of the planet, and then I got all upset about it. And, of course, it happened during a live stream, so then it was even more awkward. I was like, what happened? What happened? What happened to you? Where'd you go? I don't know. Did I make you mad? Did I make too many fart noises with my mouth? That's okay. Well, Joel Gillett, I will tell you what you missed was the brundlefly has come back to life. A gigantic fly that I thought I murdered earlier came back to life. Tried to eat my brains, and yeah, but I survived. Somehow I prevailed against the brundlefly, although I do need to get one of those teleportation machines. That would be fancy as all get out if I had a teleportation machine. I'll tell you that much. Boy, howdy. I'd probably be teleporting all around. Oh, that reminds me. Has anybody seen that movie Looper? I'm not sorry to admit that I really liked that movie. I thought that was a fantastically well done movie, and I was wondering if they're going to make another one. I hope they do, because I thought it was pretty good. But and then the other thing I wanted to talk about was Game of Thrones last night. Did anybody catch Game of Thrones? This show is going. I mean, I know it's a really dark show. I get that it's a dark show, but it's going really dark. It's going dark directions here. My prediction. Here's my prediction. No spoilers or anything. My prediction is that the Night King, or the White Walker King, comes down with the intention to kill all the dragons. That's his whole point. That's his whole game. That's why they're coming south, to kill the dragons, because the dragons are only things that could kill the White Walkers, right? Then everybody dies. And maybe only the White Walker remains, but my point is, I think my premonition is that they're going to end this show with just one person left, like Jon Snow just wandering around, and then there be some kind of thing at the end that is just like, this is just the end of days, this is it, there is no hope on this horizon, there won't be any once they're done here, there won't be any windows left open for any kind of Game of Thrones 2 Electric Boogaloo, or Game of Thrones 2, this time it's personal. And that there won't be any kind of loophole at the end to be able to make more. And Sashimi saying, "Remember the Lawnmower Man?" That's right, Job. Job returns. Job returns. I remember Lawnmower Man came out, and that was a creepy ass movie that does not hold the test of time. That Lawnmower Man movie does not. None of those movies stand the test of time. I think Game of Thrones will stand the test of time, just like if you see Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff, Predator, like those kinds of movies. They seem to hold the test of time because there's actually a good kind of story behind it. But Lawnmower Man, what a garbage house movie. But I think it's not the only time that people have brought up Lawnmower Man as far as when I'm live streaming. So I think I must have some kind of weirdness about me that must remind people of Lawnmower Man, which is slightly disturbing on my end, I'll admit. And I wonder what character flaws I need to fix in order to not inspire that out of people. Sergeant Tank is here. What's going on? What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Only experience is saying, yes, you had to watch it a few times to understand it. Oh, the looper? Yeah, it does get kind of confusing, I think, if trying to figure out exactly what's going on in that movie. Barutu's got a good point. Teleportation means that the original gets destroyed and a copy comes out the other end. I think that's where we're at now. Right now we're at that. I think they just managed to pull that off with some kind of something that went out into space. I read a story about that. Oh, and I've noticed that this has been coming up recently in the news. This has been coming up a bunch. Has anybody been seeing all the articles about thorium versus uranium powered power plants? Has anybody been seeing that? I don't know. I've been seeing I'll be seeing whatchamacallit? What's the word here? What's the word I'm looking for? I totally lost a word. But I've been seeing a bunch of people that have been. Oh yeah, they've been passing around these stories about thorium versus uranium in the power production plants, the nuclear power production plants. That thorium would somehow be a better option. I'm kind of excited about it, but it turns out that no one's really investing all that much into it other than India. India seems to be the only place that's actually doing anything with it, yet there's still only about 8% of the plants that they're building are going to be dumped into thorium because of... And here's what's ridiculous about humanity is that, like, the spent uranium used for weapons is... so much more valuable than using a better fuel to run the nuclear reactors, which is kind of mind-bending, but it also points out just how big a lot of the military-industrial, or how big the military-industrial complex is in reality, is that they're allowing these companies to invest in that kind of stuff because... we need more bombs. I don't even know what anybody needs any more bombs for at this point in time. Just seems weird. It just seems weird that we need more. I don't know. I just figure if you bake a loaf of bread, people are better off than they were before. So why don't we just keep doing that kind of stuff? It just seems odd to me. But that's a good point. So thorium, I haven't seen that thorium was too expensive. It's just that nobody will put money into it. There's one small company out there. Hold on a second. I have their crap. Lightbridge Corporation, which Lightbridge seems to be a small company. It's publicly traded, so it's not actually a tiny company. But Lightbridge Corporation seems to be the one in America that actually is developing more thorium stuff. But I'm kind of interested in where this is going to go, because it's much cheaper to operate a thorium power plant, because it's really easy to get thorium. It's not very hard to get it. So that's really the big side of it, is that, and you can operate it on demand. The crazy thing about solar is solar production does work, but we don't have anywhere really to store it yet. That's kind of the big problem. We don't have any big batteries that actually work properly to store stuff. Oh, Cichlid Bro. Cichlid Bro is our 10th Patreon patronizer for July-rary. All right, well, the current 10 spots are filled up and filling up ever so quickly, my friends. So thank you very much for everybody that is patronizing on there. And we shall see how we move on to the next phase of the live stream here, because we completely failed at doing the two-person live stream. Those of you that were here for the beginning and my rant of what was going on with that, we have failed with this software that we're using right now. Has been a total failure. So the main thing I'm going to start doing tomorrow is try and source some actual software that works properly, that is not $1,000, because I don't have $1,000 to put towards that. So I'm going to try and source some software, which seems the most affordable software that actually does everything that we need is $48 a month. So it's, I mean, let's just round it off and say that it is $50 a month. It's like $50 a month to do that. So it's going to be a step up. We shall see how that goes with actually setting that up or not. It might be a year-long. I might have to buy a year-long subscription to use that. So that is going to be, we'll see. We shall see, but this is all steps towards solidifying, getting more people in here. But I really had my hopes up that it was going to work today, and now they are dashed, which means I have more work to do tomorrow, which kind of pisses me off, but it gives us something to do tomorrow evening, and look forward with having the lovely Victoria here and able to bring her in. So if you guys have a bunch of questions for Victoria, go ahead and message them in to the message in, or comment them down in the down below part of the video, and we'll get to those tomorrow. Sergeant Tank. You like them French fry potatoes with mustard? I like them French fry potatoes with mustard. Yeah. You know what that thing is over there? That thing's a sling blade. Use that for a lawnmower. That's not the craziest voice to do. It's not the craziest voice to do. You just think, be a really weird, tired Billy Bob Thornton, and you'll get pretty close. I mean, just think about chewing on some gravel and talking real slow. Mm-hmm. French fried potatoes, mustard. Takes me a minute to get into that one though. Kevin Hayes is here, man. What's up? Out of the late nights in Florida, dude. What's going on, man? So Rurutu saying, yeah, America not allowing more nuclear plants to be built. Natural gas is plentiful and cheap compared to nuclear. Yeah, it's really one of the problems. They won't sanction new plants to be built here in America because they are unsafe, because, well, most of them are 50 years old, and most buildings that were built 50 years ago are generally unsafe and need to be, at least retrofitted and whatnot. So they're not letting it happen here. which is kind of a pain in the ass. But a lot of the development is actually happening here. There are some companies here that are developing a lot of that stuff. So that's ongoing and kind of cool. And Rurutu's also asking, have you seen Tesla solar roof tiles? Yes, I have. I've been very excited for that. About a year ago, we saw him release that they were going to do that. Then they've come out now, and they've started installing them. So I realistically want to get to see a little bit of performance from the battery cell that they're using. I believe that the solar tiles probably do perform the way that they want, because there isn't really too much into that difference of technology to make a roof tile. I think most people know how to make a roof tile that are in that business. And then this actual solar cells are pretty good now. I mean, they're not as good as they could be. I know that there's an Australian company that has some really promising solar tiles coming up, or solar cells coming up, that are actually this sheet you can actually get, which looks to be really promising. I'm pretty excited about that, because that could be a modular unit that you could use. And I know that they have some demos of them, and possibly some of them that are implemented now for like construction companies and stuff like that, they can actually take this thing out on site and like put out the solar panel and run all of the construction equipment off of solar, which that kind of progress is actually really smart. And because the construction companies would definitely pay for that. I mean, just considering how much diesel and all that crap they waste on a daily basis, can really offset that cost for sure. So I'm looking forward to some of that stuff coming out. And like I said, there's an Australian company that's kind of solidifying those sheets, if that makes sense. So that coming up, I'm pretty excited about. And the amount of possibilities that you could do with that solar sheeting I'm pretty excited. Just on the raw implication that, let's say I was to pick up like 3 acres somewhere, like that's off-grid, you put the air quotes off-grid, I could set up some solar-powered stuff to actually run automated aquatics out in those kinds of areas. Because let's say I could go out there and put, drop a couple of, what do you call them? What's the word I'm looking for here? Shipping containers. I could drop a couple of shipping containers in the ground, get them filled up, get them filtering, and then actually run all the electrical and everything like that off grid, and just kind of let it go. So you could have, realistically, you could have a pretty big breeding colony and stuff like that out there. You could even set up just an automated basic feeder and then come by once a week, do the kind of maintenance on it and stuff like that. So that is very interesting to me, because to be able to set up that kind of stuff like in town where I live now would be really cost prohibitive, because running all that electricity, running the meters for it, putting all the stuff in the ground, making sure it's permitted, not hitting anything, blah blah blah, digging the holes, all that kind of stuff would be really problematic. So that's one of the things that like kind of Potato and I were kind of spinning around about last time we met up. And talking about kind of projects of the future. And that's basically what we kind of been messaging back and forth about, hopefully a project that we'll be able to do at some point in time. Basically just big breeding ponds out in BFE. We just have to kind of figure out how to power them properly, which solar seems to be the way to go, and some deep cycle batteries, and just probably have everything drop down to, like at night, have it just drop down to basic circulation and then kick back up once the sun comes back up. But we'll see. We shall see. There are definitely some exciting solar stuff coming up, which is I'm pretty excited about to see coming into effect. What is going on over here in the chat? Shell Dwellers, Jennifer J on the Shell Dwellers. Kevin Hayes, what you reckon you're gonna do with that blade? Reckon I'll kill you with it. Is everybody subbing everybody? Everybody's subbing everybody. All right, that's always good times going around. Well, all right, guys, we're gonna. This is actually gonna be a short live stream tonight because guess what? I'll be back with a live stream tomorrow morning, and then hopefully we can do the 2-person live stream tomorrow night. If I can get that to work, it'll be 8 o'clock. If I can't get it to work, it'll be 8 o'clock. We'll try to figure out. I'm going to try to figure out a backup plan here to be able to do a 2-person with Vicky without trying to run both cameras and both microphones. Maybe I can run. I'm going to try both microphones tomorrow and see if I can get the XSplit broadcaster to actually work with that. So maybe at least we could just get audio and then just move the camera out to a wide shot, and you can kind of see us just like waving our arms at each other and talking weirdly, not at you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. We'll see if we can't get a wide shot in and just do it that way, if that kind of makes sense. But we'll see how things go. Rurutu is saying, what if we build a ton of solar barges in the ocean? It would generate electricity and block the light and heat from getting stored in the water. Actually, that would probably work out pretty well. I know there's a Dutch company right now that is working on these sort of hexagonal raft city systems. I would look up let me look up the link for that. Hold on. Dutch floating city, floating island project. Maybe that's what it is. Nope. Netherlands is building houses that float on the water. I'm just talking out loud here, guys, while I try to find a link for it. Nope. That's not it. Damn it. Where did it go? That might be it. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. I'm not finding it, but I know it's a Dutch company. Hold on. Hold on. I think I'm close. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Copy. Here's at least one of them so you guys can get an idea. Let me throw the hot link here into the Scooby-Doo. Badoosh. There we go. There's a link for that one. But if you get on that thread, there definitely are a bunch of Dutch companies that are working on these floating cities, which seem to have some really good, some really big prospects for the future, because you could actually just keep these moving around depending on what was going on. I don't know. I don't think that it would definitely do anything to block the heat, but I do believe at a certain point in time, so somebody out there is going to have to spread the message that most of our oxygen comes from photosynthesis of the ocean, not trees. It's one of the biggest myths thrown around from the 80s and the deforestation hubbub nonsense. I think about 70% of our oxygen that we breathe on this planet comes from the ocean. And that is what really needs to be addressed. Let me look this up real quick. So that we can... oops, hold on. Good douche. Here we go. In the process of photosynthesis, phytoplankton release oxygen into the water. Over half of the world's oxygen is produced via phytoplankton photosynthesis. The other half is produced via photosynthesis on land by trees, shrubs, grasses, and other plants. Blah, blah, blubbity bloop. That's just out of one of them. I know that the estimates are much higher than the one I just read. But that photosynthesis in the ocean is the most important part. So I think that's really something that we're definitely going to have to start paying attention to as just humans, right? The ocean is wildly important for keeping this planet alive, and I think it's definitely something we're going to have to work on. Aquarium Co-op said we had some problems with running multiple mics and cameras. We had to make sure each camera was on a different USB bus. Was the main problem. That sort of makes sense, and that pretty much is that's more or less what's going on over here. The only problem is I have a brand new motherboard here that actually processes USB through mostly the same bus, so I'm gonna have to sort that out, honestly, because USB 3.1 shouldn't really care where the signal is coming from, because USB 3.1 just carries so much more signal than 1 and 2. It should be fine, but I'm going to look into that for sure. That is some good advice, and that's probably what's going on to some degree over here. So I'll try and map the buses tomorrow, but that's a great lead for me to look into. Let's see. Okay, a lot of that stuff is from... All right, well, I'll figure that out tomorrow. But that's a good lead. Thank you very much, Corey. That actually is good advice that I'll start digging into in the morning. The Dutch build windmills. Yeah, but they also have to they have to build a ton on water, because a lot of the Netherlands, Holland, is underwater where they build and stuff. So they have to do that all the time. Hey, if you two saying kelp is supposed to produce a ton of oxygen too, that's true. But most of our oxygen is coming from the ocean, and it's one of the huge travesties that, like, the trees are going to produce all the oxygen that we breathe. That's definitely from the 80s. It's really old thinking, and it's really like watching commercials with Ronald Reagan on them. And I don't know, if anybody thinks Ronald Reagan was a good president, we should not be friends. He was an actor. He was an actor, and he promoted those commercials. Sorry, I digress. I don't mean to make this political, but Ronald Reagan was a Western actor who became our president. It's all the more reason that we shouldn't have a president, I honestly feel. Some fella is making his own island from plastic jugs and bottles. It's actually a sweet-looking place. From Kevin. Yeah, I think there already is a giant... island of plastic jugs and bottles. I think he claimed it for his own. I'm pretty sure that he claimed the island, the plastic island that's floating around in the ocean. I think he claimed it as his own. That, like, it's my place where I live, you know. And I think that's pretty ballsy. That's a pretty ballsy move. I like it. It's definitely a motivated move for sure. Uh-oh, my computer's thinking hard. I talked about Ronald Reagan, and now my computer started thinking hard. Is it a conspiracy, my friends? Probably not. Probably a coincidence. I'm doing my part by not having children. Of course, I wonder if these numbers are still stable, more or less percentage with the current climate changes we're having. One of the big climate changes that we are having that I find to be wildly interesting is that the deforestation argument that has gone on for so long no one has ever followed up behind actually how much the forests have expanded into areas where they weren't before, which is not necessarily a good sign. Most people would think, oh, more forest, that's better, that's good, but they're not supposed to be there, realistically. They weren't supposed to move as much as they did or reforest into areas where there never was forest. A lot of that's happening because we have higher CO2 in the air down here, but that definitely is a thing to think about, that the forest pretty easily will just rebound and do whatever they want to do. But the ocean, if we really push it over the brink, it's such a big system. I don't think it'll really come back to any degree. But I digress. It's already getting late, and we got to get off to bedtime. Love you guys. Thanks for bearing with my rambling chat tonight. We kind of went off the rails here with some nonsense and probably pissed off some Reagan lovers. But that's cool. Schwarzenegger was a good actor guy who was good at whatever he was doing, governating. That worked out pretty well, I guess. Oh yeah, I want to run through because we have today's the last day for the Patreon. If y'all want to head over there, big shout out to all the Patreon supporters: Long Woo, Steven Scogland, Aquarium Co-op, Joel Gillett, Phil Gallant, Emden Hollander, Sashimi Whiskey, Jennifer Sarsashino, Matt Gomet, and Karen K.Z. Ellis. Back tomorrow morning, relatively early for us, with some fish-related video nonsense and things that we're doing in the fish room, and re-drilling some tanks and running some plumbing and putting in a new sump and all that stuff. Along with the refugium that I was working on today, we'll have stuff on that tomorrow morning. So no super chatters tonight, so all right, cool. We'll head on out of here and go do something else. No ice cream tonight, guys. I gotta lay off the ice cream. I'm getting heavy into the ice cream, and I can't get that heavy into the ice cream. Well, everybody out there, have a safe and happy Monday evening. And what's the word we're looking for here? What is the word we're looking for? What's the word, man? I can't remember what it is. I forget. Oh, yeah. Later. Tally ho.